What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ICNV Drivers Edition. And today I have a very interesting conversation for you. At least I feel like it's an interesting conversation. I've been talking about the Corvette E-Ray a lot lately, and part of the reason for that is because there was a lot of them for sale in the market space and the cars wasn't moving. And what's funny about it is a lot of Corvette owners start to reach out, or should I say a lot of E-Ray owners start to reach out and try to convince me that it's the best vehicle on the market space. And honestly, I don't agree. But I'm not taking anything away from the vehicle. I'm not taking any shots at the vehicle. What I'm sitting there saying to you is that what you have to understand is the comments or the direction I was going with those videos, which many people lose focus because they want to keep talking about the launch times and how it's the best Corvette and it's the fastest Corvette, and they want to start talking to me about legal speed limits. Here's the thing. In all actuality, when you start looking at the Corvette lineup, the C8 lineup, we have so much variety across that platform that there is something for everyone. But GM knew when they first brought out the E-Ray, they never expected it to be a big seller. That's the first red flag. So when you bring out a car and you say it's going to make up less than 5% of the production numbers, and you know that you only put out 25 to 30,000 cars a year, you're saying you're going to pretty much make somewhere between, let's just say, 1,000 to 3,000 cars a year. So that doesn't sound too challenging to sell. So whoever buys the E-Ray truthfully should have, I'm not going to say a rare car, but you should have a car that there isn't a lot of them out there in the market space anyway. But what I never thought GM expected, or maybe they did, and I just didn't expect it, is that for them to make less than 2,000 E-Rays and over 40% of them still be available for sale within the model year. And that's brand new, not used. And then I hear people saying, well, I know Z06 owners that switch from a Z06 to an E-Ray. I'm going to be honest with you. I do not disagree. Do you know why? Because a lot of Z06 owners, or the first time owners, shouldn't be Z06 owners. They were buying the car for bragging rights. And when your bragging rights are focused around numbers and not actual driving, then that conversation really doesn't matter. So I say this also as, and I know some of you are going to get defensive and try to maybe possibly get offended, but look, man, if you're grown up and you can't handle a real honest conversation, this isn't the channel for you. Now, what I'm going to say to you is that most E-Ray owners that came from a Z06, and the word is most, not all, I heard that most of them were older gentlemen who know they aren't trying to drive faster than 100 miles per hour. And I tell you this because I see them on the street. I drive my Corvette, and there's a lot of Corvette owners I pass, or I may come along with, or that want to ride in a group to an event. And when they get behind the wheel of their cars, and I'm not shooting any negativity towards them, they don't go above the speed limit, even if regular traffic is going above the speed limit, which drives me a little crazy, but I understand. I'm not going to tell you how to drive your car. So when you turn around and tell me, yeah, there was some Z06 owners that went to the E-Ray platform, you got to understand, everybody's purpose for going somewhere or making a change isn't the reason why you buy a vehicle. Some people made the change because the Z06 was worth more money, and the E-Ray was selling at such a huge discount that they could maintain the actual look of the Z06, but yet downgrade to a car that was still performing in the mileage range or the speeds that they're going to drive. And when I come back and I keep saying the Z06 really outperforms the E-Ray, and everybody starts crying, bickering, complaining, and trying to tell me, and it's only the E-Ray owners, that I'm wrong, or I've been out there with all these Z06 owners and I'm leaving them. Look, man, let's be honest. From a dig, A dig, for those that don't understand, is from a dead stop. If you launch the E-Ray compared to the Z06, the E-Ray will launch consistently every time and give you 2.6, 2.5, 0 to 60 times, and you can possibly do the quarter mile in 10.6 seconds, although they say 10.5, 10.4, I think it's 10.5, is what's the best time the E-Ray has put down. So you should expect nothing less than that type of performance from the E-Ray. The Z06, on the other hand, and I say this to everybody, the Z06, on the other hand, struggles to get traction. People want to tell me to go look at all of these videos, which are on a drag strip surface. Now, mind you, and this is just me telling you from personal experience, a drag strip surface is kind of hard to get traction. That's why people burn rubbers and does so forth to try to make their tires stickier. The Z06 is not built for drag strip racing. The Z06 is built for high-end performance, meaning once you're rolling or on a track, the Z06 shines the best. So when everybody wants to come out and make these comments sitting there saying that, oh, my E-Ray is faster than the Z06, all these guys I race, they can't keep up with me, I take off so hard, I never said you wouldn't. That's the biggest benefit of owning an E-Ray. That is the only benefit of owning an E-Ray, is the launches are always consistent. Hear me again. The launches are always consistent. But you see, even if you look at drag time, because people have sent me drag time videos, they send me all these other people videos. If you look at these cars, and just once the Z06 is rolling, even on drag time, like he said, I'm gonna give you the hit, then launch. If you don't know what the hit means, that means the jump where your car makes traction and then goes. And no, he did not launch it. All he did, just so you understand, he did not launch the Z06. What he did was, he just stepped on the gas. And once the car started moving, they launched the E-Ray. And what you instantly saw is, once the Z06 has traction, there is no competitive advantage that the E-Ray has over the Z06. And my other point that I consistently bring up is that the E-Ray, and I say this again, the E-Ray is a drag strip quarter mile beast. That is the biggest benefit. Even when people say, oh, but he's gapping the car, he's gapping the car. Let me explain something to you. You can gap a car by 0.1 and 0.2 seconds. And that's literally all the E-Ray did. When they ran the quarter mile and you looked at the times, there was a difference of 0.1 to 0.2 seconds. Yes, he may have had a car length, possibly 2 car lengths on the Z06, even if it was 3. But he had it, but all the E-Ray did was win the drag strip race by 0.1 or 0.2 seconds. Understand that. But you also see in the video, prior to them getting to the quarter mile mark, maybe somewhere within 3/4 of running the quarter mile, you see the Z06 start to close ground. And what happens with the Z06 every time, if you run a half a mile race, the Z06 passes the E-Ray. The Z06 typically passes the E-Ray shortly after passing the quarter mile mark. The Z06 gets to higher miles per hour, higher speeds in a shorter amount of time. Every time the E-Ray got in a quarter mile run, it never broke 130. Every time the Z06 did the quarter mile run, it was always above 130. So that's telling you the Z06 is picking up speed at a much faster rate. And then I have those that holler out, Well, you don't see the difference in the Z06 and the E-Ray until you get to about 120 miles per hour. And I'd say this to you over and over again. I've been saying that from day one, that once you cross 120, you really start to see the difference in the cars because you can feel the power loss in the E-Ray. But I get it. If you want to focus on drag times, if you want to focus on launch times, the E-Ray is a much better car. When I say I live in the real world, and I get people saying in the real world, the launches on the E-Ray, that's not my point. When I say real world driving for car enthusiasts and supercar owners, and you see the videos on the internet, it's always us driving at 60 miles per hour, a lot of cases 80 miles an hour, and then them getting on the car. And when you do that with the E-Ray and the Z06, I don't know what world you living in when people tell me I did it and my E-Ray was killing the Z06. Look, man, at the end of the day, all that ever comes down to is the person behind the wheel. Because in every scenario that I've experienced where a Z06 and a E-Ray are rolling on the highway at 60 miles per hour or higher, and they both get on the car, they both step into the car, they both demand the best performance out of the car, the Z06 pulls away from the E-Ray every single time. It's not even close. If you want to start talking about gapping cars and car lengths. But I felt like I had to shoot this video to clear up the drama and the animosity and all the emails that was coming where people are trying to clarify or explain to me why the E-Ray is better. At the end of the day, the best thing I can say to you is this. If the E-Ray was truly the better performing car versus the Z06, the E-Ray would sell more. If the E-Ray was truly the better performance car over the Z06, GM wouldn't have raised the price of the Z06. I mean, how does that sound? What type of sense does that make? That I'm going to sell you, I'm going to raise the price, I'm going to try to get more money for the slower car. That's not even logical. But I'm sure we're going to have some E-Ray owners that still got a rebuttal. At the end of the day, all I can sit there and say to you is buy the car that best fits your ownership. I have nothing against the E-Ray. I know there is a market space for the E-Ray in the Corvette community. But what I will sit there and say to you, and it's been proven now, that market space isn't huge. That market space isn't in high demand. And because of that, they are discounting E-Rays. And if you're buying an E-Ray, even a 2026 E-Ray at MSRP, God bless you. Because there are dealerships discounting these cars inbound because they don't want them on their lot. And they're still sitting on the lot. That says a lot. But we can stop talking about this. We got more interesting content coming your way. Lock into the channel because we're going to talk about why moving away from the C8 is probably the best option that's coming forward. Stay tuned for that video. ICNV Drivers Edition. Go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the ICNV Drivers Edition community. Like I always tell you guys, this is an interactive community, which means if you hit me up on any one of my social media platforms or in the comments below, I'll do my best to respond. And if the topic you bring up is interesting enough, I may even shoot a video on it. But don't forget, we were all made in his image and given dominion over the world, which means we weren't just meant to be. So chase your dreams, build your visions, never ever give up, and embrace your own identity. It is okay to be unique. He's not done with you, and he's definitely not done with me. We were all given unique gifts to help us be the best version of us that we can possibly be. So step into your calling and become what you were meant to be. Just remember to stay humble, stay focused, and stay blessed. And I'll see you in these streets. Peace.